first quarter. I mean, it was amazing. Not amazing to be an Eagles fan. 7 third downs allowed, 7 for 7 on third downs on that opening drive. They just executed it perfectly. But after that, 10 total points. They finished with 17 points despite a 10-minute first quarter drive that was flawless, and it didn't matter.
I'm going to read you a couple.
Okay.
This defense is atrocious. I just woke up. The Eagles' 2023 defense is back. This team still sucks.
Oh, this team sucks.
You aren't playing the Browns and the Giants this week.
So we did get one of those.
This is my Twitter feed yesterday.
Who said that?
Now, one of them, a bunch of different people. One of them actually came from our own Tyrone Johnson.
What?
Who was losing his mind after one drive.
Oh, I saw the all caps.
And Dylan McKinnon was too. I could hear Tyrone raising his voice as he typed it. I could hear it right through the thing. And I literally said, and I'm on the record, you can go look, and I said, I'm not that bothered by that first drive at all. And people were like, you got to be kidding me. That was the most atrocious drive. They're terrible. They can't get off the field in third down. I'm going, not bothered by it. You know why? And I wrote it for 97.5thefanatic.com this morning. I actually watched the Jim Johnson era. Now, I realize for a lot of fans, they maybe didn't experience it the same way. You were a young pup. Jim Johnson, his whole idea was, and even from an interview I found in a Tampa Tribune that they talked to him, he goes, I've always been a believer in the rope-a-dope. So I read more because I remember it. He always played sort of passive on the first series of a game. The first defensive series, he's figuring, I'm hitting their scripted plays.
Yep.
They are going to play for me. As he told this writer in the Tampa Tribune back in the 2000s, I am going to let them empty their bag. These are their favorite plays. These are what they want to do.
These are the ones that they worked on, walked through.
So I will play more passive and let them show me what they got, and then I'll adjust. Bob Cooney used to tell me that this was the Larry Brown philosophy.
Okay.
Larry Brown's philosophy was watch the team come out.
First quarter.
Play a little bit.
TV timeout.
And then he'd go, change things around. And then he had a whole nother way. I see what they're trying to do. Let's attack it this way. If you watched, look, Vic Fangio is from the Jim Johnson old school.
I was about to say, you said back in the 2000s, which Vic Fangio's been around since the 1600s.
Well, this interview that I'm reading is from 2001.
Yeah, which he was.
So I mean,
he was around
23 years ago. But Vic Fangio's been around football. Vic Fangio did the same thing yesterday. They weren't over aggressive. They made them get 3 and 4 yards at a time, and they had many times to get them off the field. Now, it's not great that they didn't get them off the field.
No, 7 third down conversions
not great.
Is too much.
But there were so many different plays where they could have gotten them off the field. But he got the Cincinnati Bengals to empty their bag.
Yeah. And then what happened the rest of the game? 10 total points.
From that point on, he put a lid on them and shut them down. I remember Eagles fans bitching and complaining about first drives during the Jim Johnson era.
Yeah.
What are we doing? Rush the quarterback. Get after him. No.
And he eventually did.
Let them show their bag. And you know what? Yesterday, great job, Vic Fangio. Don't listen to the Twitter defensive coordinators who declared your defense atrocious and awful and terrible based on you playing rope-a-dope just like Jim Johnson.
So our question today, we started with the offense. Have the Eagles found the formula that works for them, and will it continue what we've seen the last 2 weeks, the dominant performance that we saw against the Giants offensively and the dominant performance we saw yesterday with the Eagles offensively against the Bengals? Same question goes for the defense. Have the Eagles found a formula that works for them defensively, and will they continue to be the team that we've seen, let's say, the past 3 weeks, because they were dominant against the Browns, dominant last week against the Giants, and, of course, dominant yesterday against the Bengals? I still don't necessarily know exactly what the formula is, but I will say this, John. He's got the right players on the field. I mean, Cooper DeJean, that play he makes on the 4th and 1 yesterday, and if you remember, Avonte Maddox was on the field for a couple of plays yesterday, was just getting toasted. The ability to move on from Maddox to play Cooper DeJean as a starter has made this defense even better than what it was the first couple of weeks where they were playing some pretty good football except for that Buccaneers game. I mean, they have the right players on the field right now. Vic Fangio's formula of snap counts, right? Jordan Davis just 21 snaps the previous week. I'll check out how many snaps he played yesterday. He's got a feel for who should be on the field at what time. We've seen Brandon Graham, the retirement tour. He's playing more than he did last year. I think Vic Fangio has a formula, and I think it's working, and I hope that it continues to.
I got to tell you, that defense is one of the most promising things. 8th versus the rush in the NFL.
It's huge.
10th versus the pass. 12th in sacks. 7th in points allowed, which is honestly, that's what matters the most.
It's double than where I wanted them to be.
Right. It was like 12th.
Yeah.
This is fun to watch. A young team coming of age. And your boy, we even had our man Brendan Petrilli this morning saying, they played really well with Slay out. They did. But Darius Slay made a veteran play that saved a touchdown.
That game changes.
Completely.
That game changes if he doesn't knock that ball out.
14-3 is a hell of a lot different than 10-3.
Than 10-3. That's one of the bigger players who plays in the game. And so for the people that constantly disrespect Darius Slay, and I know there's probably somebody going, yeah, well, he allowed the deep ball down the sideline. Okay, he got beat one time. That's going to happen. Corners are going to get beat in the NFL.
Quinyon did too.
Yeah,
for the first time we saw him get beat a little bit.
But that play on Burton in the end zone is a veteran, former All-Pro. I know he's not going to be one anymore, but former All-Pro play. And forget what you think about the guy personally. I don't like the podcast. I don't like how he acts on the podcast, chumming it up with Micah Parsons, talking about his own teammates. I don't like that kind of stuff. But the player, the guy on the field, is still playing at a very high level. Very high level.
I can't get over, and again, I don't want to get too much vitriol into this right now, but I can't get over Cooper DeJean.
He's a player, dude.
I can't get over the fact that most weeks, almost entirely for games, we don't even talk about Quinyon Mitchell because he's so steady and he's so good. I can't even right now. I'm scratching my head, going, "Wow, this team has a chance to be great, not just good, great." And they've done things this year while they're in their championship window to get a hell of a lot younger.
Yeah.
To extend the Window Nation window of opportunity.
And salesman.
And the Salciunas has used the door.
Yes.
They got the door.
It's the door of opportunity.
So they use the door. They can walk right through the door if you don't want to climb in a window. I'm so inspired by the young defense. By watching Nakobe Dean, by the way. Nakobe Dean, who a lot of people were labeling a bust. And by the way, if you thought he was a bust, you're not an idiot. You're not like, I think it was an over-the-top take, but I understand where you got there. You were frustrated as hell.
They may also have found a way to utilize him, which we talked about last week.
That's 3-4 games in a row where he is making an impact.
Yeah.
Nolan Smith, another guy. Bust. Nah, hold up. Nolan Smith, 3 games in a row with a sack.
Yep.
Again, finding a way to use him. Finding the most appropriate way to use him.
Which the previous regimes have not been able to.
That's Vic Fangio, baby.
Damn right it is. By the way,
and I'm a Fangio.
I know you are.
I'm a Fangio.
Your snap count in terms of percentages for the line.
Yeah, let's hear.
So Jalen Carter's 78%. That's good. I want him to be on the line of scrimmage a lot.
That's honestly a little more than I want.
Okay.
A little more. But it's all right. That's good.
Everybody else cycled in just beautifully. Milton Williams, 48% of the snap. Josh Sweat, 66. Nolan Smith, 52. Jordan Davis, 38. Bryce Huff, 38. Brandon Graham, 36. Trevor Booker, 9.
Done.
Like, he just cycles guys in.
Who?
Trevor Booker, man.
Trevor Booker.
It was a Thomas Booker.
I don't know.
Thomas Booker. I'm sorry. Who's Trevor Booker?
No, I don't care. Guess what?
Trevor Booker played in the NBA.
Baby. Yeah, I think he did.
Played for the Jazz.
I thought he was a process guy. You love those process guys.
Right, I do.
Wow, this is a good morning.
So, we want to hear from you.